I think if there's one thing I've learned about songwriting, it's that it doesn't have to follow any one agenda or idea or be even in any format. There are some massive songs around the world which the lyrics could actually sound almost meaningless and have very little substance behind them, but the music and the melody is beautiful and people resonate with it and it works. And you have other songs on the other side of the spectrum which are all about the lyrics, which are like 90% about the lyrics, and the music is okay, but it doesn't matter to you because you're there for the lyrics. And I think where you choose to fit in on the spectrum is totally up to you, and it's up to the process. So I think for me, the ideas that I've been having, the research that I've been doing, the things that I'm interested in, it doesn't mean that I'm not looking to kind of create an album that now speaks to all my interests on social upliftment and political reform. I don't even know if I'd ever want to write a song that has anything to do with politics directly or speaks to it directly. Maybe not. I don't worry about that. I think for me it's about filling up my own creative energy and my own creative well, if you like, and feeding my mind with all the stuff that I'm interested in, so that I have the inspiration when I start really writing and trying to write specific songs, that it just flows easily because I have it in me. Sure. I think the last thing I want is to be in a situation where I start writing a song and the words don't come and the melody doesn't come. I think my process now over the last 2 years has just been about kind of filling up all these reservoirs, so that when I really focus on album 2 and start recording material and writing stuff down, it just is like abundant. It just flows, and I write way more songs than I need, and I can just cut them down and choose the ones which really work for the album.
Finally then, I believe you're back in Amsterdam. Well, you mentioned your 7-month tour. You're back in Amsterdam in August, also in October.
Correct, yeah.
What do you like about the Netherlands? You're playing Into the Woods Festival, I think?
Yeah, in the Woods Festival.
Amsterdam Woods Festival.
Yeah, and there's one also concert at Sea.
Oh, that's one as well, yeah.
And then I have my own shows. I think one is in here in Amsterdam at Paradiso.
Right.
And the other one is in, do you know where the other one is?
Not by heart, no.
I have it somewhere in my mind. It's not Utrecht is the other place, eh?
Utrecht is one of the venues, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, I have 2 big shows in October which are mine, which I'm really excited about. It's easy. I love the Netherlands because I feel like we have some sort of a shared history and culture. A lot of my friends in South Africa come from Dutch heritage. A lot of travelers, a lot of our tourists in South Africa are people from the Netherlands. You have lots of Dutch people traveling South Africa. We meet them all the time. They're there to visit the country, but they may be also there to visit friends and family. So I know a lot about Dutch culture, whether you like it or not. And you guys know who South Africa is because you know that you have a shared history and that you have people there. So I think for me that's really nice, because from South Africa, being a South African, you don't actually have that many places in the world where you do have almost like a second home, another place where you share cultural similarities. Obviously a lot of South Africans like myself come from British descent, so I also have a lot in common, I suppose, with the British. Like when I'm there I feel quite at home. A lot of the cultural ideas and ideologies I understand, I get it, because my gran is British, my grandpa was Irish. But then on the other side, my mom is Swiss, so I have like those European roots, and so many of my friends are from Dutch heritage, and we grow up, blending with it. So for me, just to be here, walk around the streets, to be able to understand the language, to be able to speak Afrikaans and for people to understand me, it's a very unique thing. When I go to America, a lot of American people don't even know where South Africa is on the map, let alone that we speak English and Afrikaans and all these other languages, and we always get such crazy questions when we're on the road, sometimes from people in the audience in America. They say like, wow, how's it having lions and giraffes in your back garden? That must be crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, I've had a lion for my pet since I was young. Everyone has one. Whereas, Whereas in Holland, I feel like the people, they know exactly who I am as a young South African, more or less.
Is that important as an artist to have those places, because you are so much away from home, to have those places where you kind of feel comfortable?
Absolutely. It's everything. Being on the road your whole life can be really miserable otherwise. I think if you are traveling and only spending time in places where no one really knows you without you having to tell them, it can be very taxing and very difficult to have family. Even for me now, when I'm touring in Europe, I get to go to Switzerland and I get to see all my family there. You know, I have shows in Zurich, I've shown in Bern, and to have my family come to the show and for us to be able to go back and stay with my family afterwards and spend a few days recouping, that's a really nice feeling. To come back to Amsterdam and have friends who live here, to be able to understand the language and just know that when people come to my show, they understand a little bit about me. It feels a lot more homely. And you know, I go to the restaurants and the food is similar. It makes a big difference, I think, when you're living on the road. And I'm excited that things are working and my career is starting to do well here in the Netherlands, because I look forward to having a career here. I would rather have a career here than most other places around the world, because it feels like a second home. So yeah, I think it really does matter.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, thank you.